Watching, and we'll be watching Sunday night. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, in the breaking news of the night, the news is that the Secret Service has destroyed evidence that is essential to the investigation of the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Let me repeat that. Yes, the Secret Service has deliberately destroyed evidence involving the January 6th attack on the Capitol. That was revealed by the Inspector General of the Department of Homeland Security, which has jurisdiction over the Secret Service. The most important Secret Service text messages since the invention of text messaging were deliberately erased by the Secret Service, according to the Inspector General. The most important text messages in the history of the Secret Service. We do not know if any of the text messages sent to and from Vice President Mike Pence's Secret Service detail survived the deliberate erasure by the Secret Service. Those text messages could show attempts by the Secret Service to move Mike Pence away from the Capitol against his will. Those text messages could conceivably show Donald Trump ordering the Secret Service to remove Mike Pence from the Capitol during the attack on the Capitol so that Mike Pence would not be able to continue to participate in the certification of the Electoral College vote. The Secret Service text messages on January 6th are the most important text messages Secret Service agents have ever sent or received on their phones. The most important ever, and now they might all be erased. Why? Who would the Secret Service be protecting in erasing all of that crucial evidence? The Inspector General, Joseph Cuffari, discovered the text messages were erased only after he asked the Secret Service for those text messages. And the actual erasure occurred after he asked for it. The Inspector General is so concerned about this development that he wrote a letter yesterday to the Senate Committee on Homeland Security and to the House Committee on Homeland Security saying, I am writing to offer a briefing regarding ongoing records access issues that we have been experiencing with the Department of Homeland Security. The department notified us that many U.S. Secret Service text messages from January 5th and 6th, 2021 were erased as part of a device replacement program. The United States Secret Service erased those text messages after the Office of Inspector General requested records of electronic communications from the United States Secret Service as part of our evaluation of events at the Capitol on January 6th. The Inspector General puts the word after in italics because it is so deeply shocking to him that records requested by the Inspector General would be destroyed after the Inspector General requested those records. The chairman of the January 6th committee, Benny Thompson, received that letter from the Inspector General in his permanent capacity as the chairman of the Homeland Security Committee in the House of Representatives. When the Inspector General eventually does brief Benny Thompson about what he knows about the Secret Service erasing text messages that might send the January 6th committee investigation into a new direction. Tonight, Benny Thompson told the New York Times, quote, it's concerning. It's important for us to get as much information about this, about how this discrepancy occurred. A spokesman for the Secret Service said, quote, we take strong issue with these categorically false claims, and I will be responding in detail shortly. There is no reason at all why the Secret Service couldn't have responded fully and completely tonight. The Secret Service has known for a very long time that the Inspector General has been asking for these text messages. The Secret Service has known for apparently well over a year that they deliberately deleted those text messages. The Secret Service also knows those are the most important text messages anyone at the Secret Service has ever sent or received or deleted. The Secret Service spokesman giving that strangely combative public statement tonight is an echo of the gross lack of professionalism described by the Inspector General in his letter about the Secret Service. As of tonight, the Secret Service is asking America to believe that after January 6th, the Secret Service decided it was time to issue new cell phones to every agent who was working in Washington on January 5th and 6th. Time to update them, new equipment, and time to lose the information on the most important cell phones that the Secret Service has ever possessed.
It's called burning the books.
Phones that they were using on January 5th and January 6th. And the Secret Service spokesperson tonight says that the Inspector General is not telling the truth about this. Letters like this from Inspectors General are rare, and they are important. It was a letter like this, exactly like this, from an Inspector General to the intelligence committees that began the first impeachment of Donald Trump. That is where the Inspector General informed the committees that there was a whistleblower report about a phone call made by the President of the United States to President Zelensky. That is how it all began. This letter tonight about the Secret Service is a description, as it stands tonight, of the Secret Service out of control. Out of control on January 5th, January 6th, and afterward, when the Secret Service decided willfully to destroy evidence, important evidence about the January 6th attack on the Capitol. The Wall Street Journal is reporting Representative Adam Kinzinger, panel member who will be leading some of the questioning at next Thursday's primetime hearing, said in an interview ahead of a meeting Thursday, the panel could decide to request a written interview with Mr. Pence. The committee could also discuss whether to issue a subpoena to the former vice president to try to compel him to testify. The committee is also weighing whether it will ask Mr. Trump to testify. For the second time this week, a federal judge has denied a request from Steve Bannon to delay the start of his trial for criminal contempt of Congress in defying a subpoena by the January 6th committee. Yesterday, Bannon's lawyers requested a delay of the trial, which is scheduled to begin on Monday, claiming that references to Bannon during Tuesday's January 6th hearing create a risk of prejudice by potential jury members. In their filing, Bannon's lawyers wrote, Mr. Bannon has been repeatedly portrayed in them and in most negative inflammatory ways, along with a featured and promoted one-hour special report documentary on CNN devoted entirely to Mr. Bannon, scheduled to run twice on the night before the trial is scheduled to begin. Here is what was said about Steve Bannon at Tuesday's hearing.
The committee has learned from the White House phone logs that the president spoke to Steve Bannon, his close advisor, at least twice on January 5th. The first conversation they had lasted for 11 minutes. Listen to what Mr. Bannon said that day after the first call he had with the president.
All hell is going to break loose tomorrow. It's all converging, and now we're on, as they say, the point of attack, right? The point of attack tomorrow. I'll tell you this, it's not going to happen like you think it's going to happen, okay? It's going to be quite extraordinarily different. And all I can say is strap in.
Judge Carl Nicholas, who was appointed by Donald Trump, denied Steve Bannon's request for a delay, once again saying, quote, we're still going to be at trial on Monday. I have every intention of getting a jury that is going to be appropriate, fair, and unbiased. And we now have a response, an additional response from the Secret Service tonight. I'm going to have to just read it to you live as I have received it here. It says, the insinuation that the Secret Service maliciously deleted text messages following a request is false. In fact, the Secret Service has been fully cooperating with the Department of Homeland Security Office of Inspector General in every respect, whether it be interviews, documents, emails, or texts. First, in January 2021, before any inspection was opened by the Office of Inspector General on this subject, the Secret Service began to reset its mobile phones to factory settings as part of a pre-planned 3-month system migration. In that process, data resident on some phones was lost. The Department of Homeland Security, Office of Inspector General, requested electronic communications for the first time on February 26, 2021, after the migration was well underway. The Secret Service notified the Inspector General of the loss of certain phones' data, but confirmed to the Inspector General that none of the texts it was seeking had been lost in the migration. Second, the Inspector General's allegation regarding Department of Homeland Security's cooperation with its investigation is neither correct nor new. To the contrary, the Inspector General has previously alleged that its employees were not granted appropriate and timely access to materials due to attorney review. Department of Homeland Security debunked this allegation, including in response to the Inspector General's last 2 semi-annual reports to Congress. The Inspector General's letter says that that there have also been issues with lawyers, that the department personnel have repeatedly told the Inspector General that they were not permitted to provide records directly to the Inspector General, and that such records had to first undergo review by Department of Homeland Security attorneys. This review led to weeks-long delay in the Inspector General obtaining records and created confusion over whether all records had been produced. Joining us now is Glenn Kirshner. He is a former federal prosecutor and MSNBC legal analyst. And Glenn, I am struck in the Secret Service's lengthier response tonight when they say that in January of 2021, before the Inspector General opened his investigation, they decided to replace all these phones. They made that decision after January 6th. After January 6th, the techies at the Secret Service decided, you know what, it's time to upgrade. Who cares that some of these phones might have some of the most important evidence that Secret Service phones have ever had on them? This is something we're going to have to be learning a lot more about. What is your reaction to what we've got so far from the Inspector General and the Secret Service?
Well, my reaction as a former career federal law enforcement employee is it makes me heartsick that, you know, the Secret Service wouldn't realize the importance, the historic importance of preserving these kinds of text messages. I will say, Lawrence, when I first heard the reporting before your update, you know, I was asking myself, will the deleted January 5th and January 6th text messages become the modern day equivalent of 18 missing minutes from the Watergate tapes? But what this feels like is more of what we have been experiencing, you know, not just since January 6th, but for the entirety of Donald Trump's reign. And it feels like we are a nation just adrift in a sea of unaddressed lawlessness. And now, what should happen is the Department of Justice should already be up and running with a robust investigation. And as we speak, Lawrence, there should be FBI agents digging in to these dueling allegations of missing text messages being, you know, the product of some nefarious attempt to get rid of evidence versus some ordinary house cleaning, which, again, doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
To go back to the Secret Service's longer reply tonight, I just want to read this line again because it's just so stunning. The Secret Service began to reset its mobile phones to factory settings as part of a pre-planned 3-month system migration. In that process, some of the data was lost. So Glenn, they've got a pre-planned techie update for the phones. That's fine. That's perfectly okay. As of January 5th, that's perfectly okay. By 2 p.m. on January 6th, Everybody at the Secret Service should have known no one's touching any of those phones. Cancel your pre-planned techie update of the phones.
It's beyond credulity that they did not know of the evidentiary value and importance.
Provided that they even had a pre-plan. That's the whole kicker right there. They may not have never had a pre-plan. They're just saying that they had a pre-plan.
Of those text messages as January 6th was unfolding. I've worked cases with the Secret Service Uniform Division. I know how sharp the officers are. This smells bad. You know, it's like saying, well, there was a murder in a particular house, but you know what? That house was scheduled to be cleaned the next day, so we ignored all the evidence and we went ahead and cleaned out the house.
Exactly.
None of this makes a lot of sense.
Glenn Kirshner, thank you very much for joining us tonight on this breaking news. Also joining us now is Democratic Representative Hakeem Jeffries of New York. He's the chair of the House Democratic Caucus and was an impeachment manager for the first impeachment trial of Donald Trump. Congressman Jeffries, this is the most disturbing letter from an inspector general since the inspector general letter that started what became the first impeachment trial of Donald Trump.
That's correct. It's a very disturbing set of developments, and we need to figure out whether this was just basic incompetence, which in and of itself, as you pointed out, Lawrence, is stunning, given the magnitude of the events that occurred on January 6th. Or was this part of an effort to delete information that people at the Secret Service should have known would be incredibly
Burn the books,
relevant
baby,
to
burn
the
the
American
books.
people as part of the effort to figure out what occurred during the insurrection?
And the Inspector General's letter says the Secret Service has been uncooperative. They have created a procedure for the delivery of documents that is confusing and leaves open the possibility that some documents and evidence isn't being delivered at all. That's something that the Inspector General will brief the committees on, and the committees will be able to ask questions about that. The Secret Service, in their letter, is insisting, oh no, we are in full compliance. We everything that the Inspector General asks for, we hand over immediately.
Well, someone is not telling the truth here, and I found generally that Inspector Generals have conducted themselves with integrity and with thoroughness. I also have great respect for the Secret Service as an agency, but something was very wrong here in the decision-making process, and hopefully it wasn't part of an effort to cover up information that would expose or embarrass or implicate even criminally individuals in the events connected to January 6th. But that's going to be the job of the relevant committees of jurisdiction in the United States House of Representatives and Senate to present the truth, uncover it, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to the American people. And the consequences should follow from there.
It's one of those moments where Benny Thompson's permanent position as the chair of the Homeland Security Committee, which has jurisdiction over the Secret Service, intersects with his temporary position as the chairman of the Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol and more. How do you expect the January 6th committee to react to this news tonight from the Secret Service? They actually got this letter, Benny Thompson got this letter yesterday from the Secret Service Inspector General. So the Secret Service has had plenty of time to come up with a more thorough response than it has come up with tonight.
Well, Chairman Benny Thompson has done an extraordinary job leading the January 6th committee, and one of the reasons why Speaker Pelosi appointed him as the chair is because of the incredible track record he has had in chairing the Homeland Security Committee. So as you pointed out, this is an interesting point of intersection. I would expect that the committee will just continue to follow the facts, apply the law, be guided by the Constitution, uncover the truth, present it to the American people in the compelling way that they have been doing so far.
Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, thank you very much for joining us on this breaking news tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Thank you. And coming up, Lindsey Graham has a date in court next week, in federal court,
once more, Secret Service is an agency that has been calling the shots now in quite a few affairs pertaining to the presidencies of various presidents, beginning with Ronald Reagan in the latter part of his presidency, leading into the Bush family. Secret Service is the very ones that wanted to prevent or keep this testimony of myself of ever being exposed to the general public. And there was various other initial entities or enterprises that wanted to do the same. They wanted to keep the truth from the American people. They wanted me personally, of me not fulfilling my spiritual duties pertaining to the assignment that the Heavenly Father had put me on. In other words, they did not want me to fulfill my purpose. And they have done everything in the world, and what they've actually done is caused a calamity to come up onto the people. That's what they've done. Beginning with one agency, being turned over to another agency, being turned over to another agency, being turned over to another administration, being turned over to another administration, and that is what has put us in January the 6th, as well as all these other horrendous bad occurrences that has happened to the American people in the past 30 plus years. And it is astronomically sad. It is so sad that so many people was involved in this movement that it's just now beginning to fully be exposed. Thanks again. Good luck to all of us pertaining to the Secret Service. No longer secrecy of their bad services to the American people in the world. Thanks again, and God bless. May God bless our troops, and shalom.